I think, obviously, the audience deserves respect.
Yeah.
You as a creator, whoever partakes in your art deserves some modicum, at least, a measure of respect, I think. And there are good ways of giving that to the person consuming your art. And I think in Captain America, for example, I think that was one of the most blatantly poor ways of treating the audience with respect. By continually, breaking the world building, setting up a lot of expectations, then, and promises, and they're not living up to them, etc., etc. And I think in many ways, the returning feature of these live action remakes, I feel, is this same contempt almost for the audience, right? Where you don't give them the credit they're due because you don't do anything. You don't even try to do anything novel with these.
It's so blatant. It's unfortunate because Disney have had some great runs throughout history. When you think about the Renaissance 90s era, when we have Lion King, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, there was such a big run there, and then back in the 60s, they have some amazing movies. But nowadays they seem, like you say, contempt in giving us a mediocre product because they know it's gonna profit.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Your little thing there is going to make a lot of noise.
I am also having lunch while recording this because I am a very busy bee. So I'm running all around town today.
If you hear someone just prattling with
or just, munching on something, well, then that's me. This is also an ASMR podcast. So, and if you want more of this, remember to subscribe to my OnlyFans, all right?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Now it's going to go on a wild tangent, but I'm not going to do that, actually. Let's
take it easy. It's
easy. It's just it's in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, still the first 5 minutes. No crazy tangents yet, but very soon you'll get some crazy tangents.
I do want to talk about you on one thing, because...
Want to talk about me?
Not you.
I also want to talk about me, my favorite topic. Let's go, dude.
No, we saw Mickey 17. If you haven't listened to that episode, go do that, because that was an amazing episode. We talked about that movie, and it was pretty good movie. Maybe not amazing, but Bong Joon-ho is an amazing director, one of the best in the movie business today.
Sure.
And
I guess there's a bold claim, but sure,
one of the best. I didn't say best, but
he's one of the directors of all time.
Yeah, right? yeah, exactly. I'm just saying that he's a talented director.
For sure.
And Mickey 17 is bound to make not that much money. It is bound to make about maybe 150, 200 million on a 110 million budget with an 80 million budget marketing. Mm-hmm. That means they had to, because people often forget that when you look at a movie's budget, say the budget is $200 million, which it is for many big blockbusters these days.
Definitely.
Like if we look at something like the last Indiana Jones, it had a budget of like 250.
Dial of
Destiny. And people forget that you don't just have to make 250 at the box office to recoup your losses. You have to also include the marketing budget, which is
and then you'll have to pay yourself a lot of money with your subsidiaries Hollywood accounting.
But usually the marketing budget, it could be as much as the movie itself. Usually a little less. So maybe if you look at the Dial of Destiny, 200 million for the movie, then maybe another 150 million for the marketing, or 100 million at least, and then also the cinemas also take a cut from the box office making.
That isn't indeed how it works.
You end up having to make 2.5 times amount of money to your budget. So for Dial of Destiny, you have to make about 500 million just to break even, which is unreasonable amount of money. And I cannot understand why studios approve these type of budgets if it's not like an Avengers Endgame. Then I understand it. But that is so much more than something like just a normal block budget. You don't have to spend 200 million. Just take it down to 100 million. And that's what we have with Bong Joon-ho's new movie, Mickey 17. That's only like $100 million. Only, quote unquote. It looks beautiful. And I don't think money would have solved any of his issues, just pouring more money into it. But it is unfortunate since it is an original story. And this is kind of, in my eyes, a little bit of a defeat, or a big defeat, when it comes to creativity in Hollywood, especially because...
To be fair, that movie was not like super amazing. Like Mickey 17 is a passable movie, but it's not, like an incredible movie. So I'm not as upset with that movie not, making bank.
It's gonna lose like 80 to 100 million.
That
easily.
obviously, yeah. It'd suck if Bong Joon-ho could make more movies because of this, which I don't think that's gonna happen. He's still,
Although
very
I just
credited
think that this, when studios look at this failure of Mickey 17, they're gonna look at it and be like, well, are we gonna take the risk on an original movie instead of just doing another live action movie or just doing a sequel?
Then look at Snow White though. It is in.
It's bombing.
It is bombing hard. It is crazy.
Maybe one of the biggest bombs in history.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
And we have not seen
even
that
from a fiscal view, right? Also, like reviews. It's just a shit movie.
Reputation.
Yeah, exactly. So there's.
So we have not seen it, and we're not gonna see it until it comes out to Disney Plus, probably, because it's not worth our money. Like, the cinema is expensive these days, and I'm not gonna spend it on fucking Snow White. Like, no chance. The trailer.
I just don't want to watch it. Yeah,
I watched the trailer, and that was
just look
horrible.
like
and with the reviews coming, like, the only reason I would want to watch this movie is to see how bad it is. Like, how horrible it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's got like 2 point something on IMDb, which is like unheard of.
Yeah, it's literally unheard of, and I cannot be. Yeah, it's crazy because they all, a few years ago, Rachel Zegler and many of the people in this movie criticized the original movie, which rubbed the people just the wrong way in a lot of ways.
Which is very fair, because the original movie is good.
Like, I don't know if the original movie is that good. Maybe that's my whole take.
Disney Snow White.
Disney Snow White is not that good. That is my opinion.
It's not that good. That's okay. No,
I think the story is lacking. Snow White is not much of a character. The songs is iconic, but
but only like the party song, right? Maybe.
Yeah, no. The also the animal song. Which,
okay, I guess the animal song.
That
and the dwarfs,
It is an iconic story. There is a reason why it has survived millennia almost, or maybe not millennia, but maybe a few hundred years probably.
Yeah, that's more
millennia
that's
was
more accurate in this instance. But then again, it is a tale as old as time in many ways, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
kind of
it's just that movie is lacking in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Story wise, the prince doesn't have any characters, so they do point out some interesting faults with the movie.
Yeah,
that could be fixed.
Excellent opportunity to make,
excellent opportunity, but it's just a sour good tone they do it with. It's the tone in how they criticize, because people love that movie for obviously a reason. People grew up, if they're that old.
It's still like a Disney classic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in that sense, sure. But no, the original movie isn't that good now that you say it.
It's definitely not in their top catalog. It's like, it's not near Lion King, Aladdin.
Not even close.
Those Renaissance movies.
Not even close. Like the 90s, obviously, but even like Jungle Book is.
Yeah, like, Jungle Book is probably the best like early Disney project. Those like before Renaissance, probably the best.
Probably.
Because Jungle Book is a banger.
Dumbo.
I don't think Dumbo is as good.
Dumbo's 80, right? So it's.
Yeah, 80s.
It's not really early, as opposed to like.
But Jungle Book is better than.
Yeah, definitely. You've got like Alice in Wonderland, I suppose.
That is a classic. That is a classic. I agree with that. And then we have the 2000s with Tangled. For example, that is one of my favorite ones.
It is Tangled is ridiculous.
Tangled is ridiculous good. The first Moana is pretty good.
It is really good. That movie is really good.
And then we have some few like Scatterau. I think what is the call?
Which one?
The Treasure.
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet
is like the best Disney movie in history.
Kind of amazing.
That movie is ridiculously good.
And also the Atlantic.
The journey to Atlantis.
Man, it was the forgotten 2000s.
El Dorado is not Disney, is it?
No, I don't think so.
But that's DreamWorks. Still a sick movie. But yeah, Atlantis is but Treasure Island is ridiculous. I watched that movie recently. Rewatched it pretty recently. Fuck, what a good flick.
But if we think about it, now the Snow White is like, I know it's trash. I haven't seen it, but I know it's trash.
You have faith. Which one is in the reviewers? Generally, I'm a bit on the fence when it comes to reviewers, because I really want to watch it myself.
Yeah, sure.
For my own opinions,
of course.
But in this instance, I'm not I'm not gonna watch it.
But if you watch the trailer, the guy
Yeah.
got the acting. I've seen a few like clips
Yeah,
on TikTok and everything. Man, she is horrible. Like
Jesus
one of the
Christ,
worst
yeah.
actors today in Hollywood. And I don't know. Her only good role I've seen her in is that first Wonder Woman. Because she really works.
Did you see? I sent you a clip of some of her deliveries from the first
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
No, it's bad, but she that's her best role though, because
Yeah, sure.
her bad acting kind of plays into because she plays the fish out of water. She plays like she's from another world, so it kind of works.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. The second one it doesn't work as well because she should be more accommodated with the world, so you can't play that angle anymore.
No, definitely.
And I just.
But yeah,
for some reason, I really remember her in is it Red Notice or what's it called?
Yeah.
The Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, like Netflix really commercial movie.
Yeah.
Which is not horrible because it's kind of just so forgettable. You can just watch it on the background. Like it's one of those movies that are just like it's there, I guess. But so you can put it on. You don't have to think about it. I understand why they made it, but she in that she from the like Rock and Ryan Reynolds like natural charisma that they have, she just stands out like a sore thumb so blatantly. And
that's crazy because the Rock and Ryan Reynolds, they're not known like their acting chops. They are good because they play themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not actors in that.
No,
sense.
definitely.
But yeah, sure, I can see what you mean though.
But like even with them, like if Gal Gadot gets compared to someone like if she and Adam Driver was in the same movie, it would be rough. That would be. That's what I mean. She looks bad compared to average actors, if not even bad. Because The Rock is honestly a bad actor in my.
He's the thing is he plays himself. He doesn't act in that way. He's not that type of actor.
Yeah.
We have different types of actors, right?
And Ryan Reynolds is also that type of actor, even though he gets more props, in my opinion, than The Rock. Because people do notice The Rock being a lackluster performer and has no range, but I feel like people don't view that like Ryan as that type of man in Hollywood as much, at least.
Maybe not, but I guess he's had a few.
Has he though? I feel like every time in the movie he's just playing the exact same character.
Some he is definitely typecast, and he's always playing himself.
It's just he's better at playing himself than The Rock is. You know what I mean?
Funny thing to say, but sure. I guess he is. I do respect The Rock, for what he does, though.
You gotta respect the hustle.
Yeah, absolutely, 100. Of course,
I respect the hustle.
Of course, I respect the hustle.
But welcome back to the movie.
To the family.
To the family. We are on episode 15.
This is it. This is episode
So
number 15.
Season 1. And,
is it season 1?
Yeah, it's still season 1.
Wow.
It's the finale of season 1.
This is the season. This is the season finale. There's gonna be so many crazy things.
So many crazy references, and if you have, you won't
get
them.
Watch the earlier episode. What are you doing with your life? Go back and listen to those episodes. Even if you've not watched the movies, because after you've listened to the episodes, you don't need to watch the movies.
That's true.
And to be honest, we've only reviewed shit movies, so you don't.
Last time we reviewed a few good ones.
The fine review, we talked about good movies last time. Yeah, that's fair.
So if you want to hear something good, listen to the last one. If you want to hear something shit, listen to the preview.
But really good takes on shit.
Yeah.
We took that shit and we gobbled it up and we just reviewed it.
Gobble it out.
But sometimes you need to taste shit in order to be able to enjoy, the ambrosia laid down.
But everyone knows we're coming. You can't have a good time without a good wine.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Let's go. Wine of the week.
So here you go. The wine of the week is Juno, a Shiraz from South Africa, of the Western Cape, the coastal region.
South Africa is such a beautiful country.
Very beautiful country and very
fucked in some ways.
Of course. But I have many friends, South African friends, and they're all amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the
people's great.
Yeah, definitely. But this is, it's called Juno. It's very easily drank, which is why I picked it. 2024 Shiraz, very inexpensive too, because this is for you. Because you always complain that I
it's
pick
too expensive.
very expensive wines.
Yeah,
and for
I'm
being
poor.
a cheap wine, I think this is actually drinkable. Right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, my only like wine tasting or like going to actual wine.
Yeah.
What you call it? Wine gourds.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
What are you looking for?
Gourd.
Oh, vineyard.
Oh, fuck's sake! I don't know. My only actual time going to a vineyard and actually tasting proper wine, like a proper wine tasting, was in South Africa.
Oh.
And I was not 18 at the time, so yeah.
Very memorable experience.
Very
I'm
memorable
sure.
experience for me personally. I was playing Mario Kart with a friend. I just brought the Switch, and me and my sister and a few friends, we were just playing like Switch because we were kind of bored after like the first wine. So we just played with Mario Kart.
How old were you? Like,
no,
don't
we,
answer that question.
We were like 16, so it wasn't that bad.
Okay, not that bad.
But
still. Okay, interesting. But no, Juno, South African wine, pretty good. Crack it open, have a drink, watch a good movie. That's what we do.
That's what we do. And
that's what we're all about.
Today we are talking about live action remakes in not really.
I think we're talking about giving respect to the audience.
Yes.
Being respectful towards other people. We're talking about respect today, the bare minimum. And I think recently, Hollywood, they've not paid us any respect.
Have they ever paid us respect? That is the question.
That is indeed the question. And that is what we're going to find out today. We're going to go on a deep excursion and explore Hollywood through the ages and see, did Hollywood ever respect its audience?
Does Hollywood deserve our respect?
In return.
That is also exactly. It's
yeah,
a two-way
right.
street.
It definitely is a two-way street.
But when it comes to these live action, like we already talked about, Snow White is bombing at the box office. But are all these horrible? All these live action Disneys, are they horrible? Because we just saw a new Lion King remake come out just a few months ago, maybe a half a year ago.
It's not, but that one I do kind of respect because at least it's a new story. They do something new, right?
I agree, even though I kind of hate the story a lot, actually. I watched the movie pretty recently.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it at the time, and it's just off-putting, firstly, with the live-action lions. It is really off-putting, especially when they're like...
It's like Uncanny Valley.
It just feels wrong for something. Like, it feels like it should be an animation. If they did a Mufasa animated version with an updated Lion King animate...
Hand-drawn,
imagine hand-drawn 2D
imagine
animation.
the things you could do. Yeah, it's such a beautiful medium. Imagine if it was as vibrant, as colorful as, say, Spider-Verse.
Or Moana 2, just like they did before. Like, imagine those water techniques they did that for the savannah.
For sure. Something that vibrant, right? That'd be really, really, really sick.
When here, it feels so lack of life. Honestly, when you watch this, it's like it's so
I see what you
devoid
mean.
of color. It's so devoid of any emotion. It just feels like you're watching these kind of not little bit off-putting, but pretty good CG animals just talking and emoting in a weird way. But it's not too weird, so it kind of works in some ways. But it's honestly, it's for me. It's just why wouldn't they do this in animation? It feels like it's made for animation. And that's kind of disrespecting the medium, because
in some ways maybe, but in other ways they are pushing the envelope, right? In this like live action,
technically,
because I think there is a place for this. This is an art form that we can explore, which I am fine with. But then sure, it is lacking in many ways. But at the same time, I am not as put off by the visuals. Yes, I agree. There's a lack of color, and like it's not as vibrant. And it does sometimes feel a bit artificial, but also I blame the writing for that.
Yeah, the writing is the worst part in this movie, honestly. When it comes to just simple dialogue, it's struggling throughout. The whole story of Simba meeting Scar, I honestly thought it kind of...
Mufasa, you mean?
Mufasa meeting Scar, not Simba, obviously.
Yeah.
Different generations.
Yeah.
Mufasa meeting Scar is kind of a it kind of detracts, honestly, for me from the original Lion King, because them being brothers makes it. I feel like real brothers makes it more believable in the kingdom, kind of thing. And like and him not like getting to this kingdom, because he's not a king in the beginning. He's just like a stray lion, so it feels kind of weird, because it feels like his father before he gave him the wisdom.
It feels like they shoehorn like rags to riches in there.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to make him like so he's not born from
royalty.
Yeah, royalty and everything.
Yeah, which in so I agree. In some ways, detract from the actual story down the line, because in the Lion King, right,
which is kind of the worst thing a prequel can do. Yeah. A prequel should flesh out the story and make the original better. Yeah. Which very few prequels do. While here,
it's like only Star Wars does it really well, right? That is like one example of fleshing out the world perfectly. And just giving so much life to this universe, right?
I don't know if I agree with that. Those I agree with the whole, like, if you include Clone Wars, if you include the first Clone Wars as well, the original Clone Wars series, and if you include just minor stories, if you include like the video games, the world, then I agree maybe. But just the 3 movies are kind of lackluster, honestly, because they bit more than they can chew when it comes to the political drama, when it comes to just the world is honestly too massive. The story is too massive for them to tell in like they tell the whole Clone Wars in one movie. They skip it.
It's not the whole Clone Wars.
They skip it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know what happens.
That's true.
And then you get the miniseries. Yeah, that's the best piece of Star Wars media ever. The original Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
Shit, what a fucking sick show that was.
A sick show. They really captured the Star Wars feeling very well. But the movies, I honestly wish that they reworked the Phantom Menace to not start when Anakin was born. I honestly wish Phantom Menace was later on. Maybe Attack of the Clones was the first one, and then we had 2 other ones to flesh out his character more when he was older.
But we need his origin story, right? And also to build up like the world and everything. Yeah, Trade Federation.
I understand
Phantom Menace is such a good movie.
It is not.
It really is such a good movie. What a movie, dude.
They just shaft Obi-Wan the whole movie, and then they bring him in.
We don't need Obi-Wan yet.
Yeah, he comes in at the end
to
save the world, and you don't feel the weight of it because you haven't seen the relation between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan yet.
Yes.
No. Qui-Gon Jinn isn't even in the original, so you can't pull that. Oh, you already know it in the original. You can't even pull that. Don't even try me.
No, but you can feel it in the report, right? As soon as they interact with each other, right?
You can't. They're so stiff.
Because the Master Apprentice, perfect vibe, right?
I get that.
But at the same time, they have, this good vibe between them. They respect each other. They love each other.
I like that it's a juxtaposition with Obi-Wan and Anakin, because those are more brothers than Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. Those are more father figures.
Yeah,
so I like that juxtaposition. But then we have to more focus on it. We only see a few scenes when they actually interact.
Yeah, that's what we need to ground that idea.
We need to ground more then.
Nah. Perfect grounding in
the dialogue is just stiff.
The dialogue is really good from time to time.
Everyone speaks like they are, I don't know, reading off a script.
Yeah, because we're in space, dude. That's what we do in space.
No, they didn't do it in the original.
Yeah, but that's way later. That's after the Clone Wars and everything. And they're on Tatooine.
No.
The peasants, right?
Yeah, they should be.
Luke Skywalker, he's a peasant. He doesn't know anything.
Culture there. It should be a really interesting, because they're not even in any. They're not in. The Tatooine is not in the Trade Federation.
Yeah.
They're just controlled by the Hutt.
Yeah, the Hutt
So
cartel.
they should be a really more out there, separated culture.
Yeah, but they are in the touristy areas. Yeah, because Watto, he is,
No.
down with the kids.
And then it's so odd. Why is Natalie Portman in this and not a younger actress? It's so uncanny that they get together.
That is a bit.
Why did they just like...
We can live with it. It's not. But it's 5 years between them or some shit. He's like what?
She's 14. Way more.
She's supposed to be 14 or something, right?
Yeah, but because Natalie Portman is like 20 at the time.
Yeah.
And she looks it. But not like she looks old, but she looks like a grown... Not a grown...
Yeah, but 14 is very young, like when you think about it, which is...
And he's supposed to be like 10 or 11
exactly,
maybe. So 9, it shouldn't be that big of a difference. But in maturity, especially, when they interact, it feels like a young boy, just like a little baby interacting with a grown woman.
Yeah, exactly. So this is only... It's not even like it's more of a motherly than Big Sister vibes,
Exactly.
which is, they're going for Big Sister.
They're going for Big Sister, but it is motherly. And then in the next movie, you kind of like, oh, she didn't age a day, and he ages like 20 years.
Yeah, which is, that's, boys,
It's crazy.
Puberty, this shit to you, right?
She did not age a day in those movies. They should have just gotten a younger actress, like a 12-year-old kid. But I understand why you wouldn't want to do that either. That's why you should age up Anakin. Make him that he's 14, so you can cast an 18-year-old.
Maybe.
I think that's fair.
That could work. But again, I think the movie's really good, so you don't need to change that much.
Let's just move on. Which of the
episode 2?
What?
You said move on. Yeah, next movie.
No.
Attack of the Clones.
No. Okay, let's just move on from Star Wars in general. Let's just talk about Disney again.
Do we want remakes of Star Wars?
Yes, I do. I was the one who proposed to you the animation.
You've been saying, right? You want New Hope remake.
I wanted first a Phantom Menace remake because I kind of feel like there is potential in that Phantom Menace. The whole prequels are like potential brewers, but just failed potential.
Okay,
if you change, like, should we just say fuck Disney and go, well, Disney owns Star Wars?
That's what we're talking about.
Should we just ignore Disney classics and just go Star Wars?
Yeah. Let's keep on.
Guys, this is a Star Wars episode now.
Star Wars
episode. So Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
What I would change in that movie, first, Qui-Gon Jinn. I love that character. We should not change a single bit.
That's what I mean. Such a good character.
Good casting.
Holy and Liam Neeson, my God, he really has the biggest dick in Hollywood, doesn't he?
He really does. Like,
he really does.
And I've seen it.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Seen it in this movie. No, it is.
Yeah, you can't see it in a few scenes.
Definitely, you just gotta pause at the right moment.
We'll share the links below, all the timestamps for where you should post the Phantom Menace
to see Liam Neeson's dick. Perfect. No, but what I would change about the Phantom Menace is it's not Qui-Gon Jinn, but it is Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he feels like a 180 from Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones. He feels like he's loosened up like 20 times. Because he's
also very young though, isn't he?
He's very young, but he is only like 3 years older in the next movie.
Yeah, it is very like brief,
3-4
but he had to age a lot because so much happens, right?
That is true, but I feel like he should be more like stiff then, because he's supposed to be the rule follower compared to Qui-Gon Jinn's more loose definition of the Force.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really like. I really liked Qui-Gon Jinn's Force. Like, he's supposed to be the perfect Jedi in many ways, because he really follows the Force and not some council.
And shows how stiff the rest of the council has become, and how your letter of the law, they just they just can't really act on anything because they're afraid of
they kind of tied by bureaucracy at the end of the day.
Exactly. Which is the brilliance. That is the first trilogy, right? What it does so well is showing the bureaucratic side.
I love
of
it.
The universe.
That part I would not get rid of. I would almost lead in more to the bureaucracy of the Jedi, which I love, and we really, I feel like we should, if we jump a little bit now to Revenge of the Sith, I feel like we should focus more on Anakin leaving the Jedi because they are stiff. Because in this movie, we really focus on Anakin's fall to the dark side because of Padme's threat of death, basically. That is almost exclusively his motivation in that movie. We do have moments of him
being
against the
unstable
console.
too, being young and angry and misunderstood.
Yeah, exactly.
There is that undertone to it, right?
But I feel like we should focus more on him just philosophically disagreeing with the council, and then seeing their mistakes.
In some ways what we're trying to do, only we maybe deliver it, with some hyperbole when he goes, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil, which, might not be the right way around.
The dialogue there is rough. The dialogue throughout, I think, is pretty rough. If you look at the love story,
that's what people generally criticize, right?
That's the first thing you criticize.
That jumps out, which is better. It's not amazingly written, but I think it is passable.
It is better than many say. Like, they have these like 3 clips of them like acting. The sand clip, obviously, that is probably the first one, and they just play it over like, this is why the prequels are bad. Like, no, that's a reason why it's not good.
But they are good.
I-
This is just one of the aspects that isn't as good.
If you say so, But let's go back to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
The Phantom Menace. The final fight kind of feels soulless in a way because
Okay, why?
first Obi-Wan, we don't really care about Obi-Wan, so that's one piece.
Of course we care about Obi-Wan.
We
We
care
love
about
Obi-Wan.
No,
We
do
love
not.
him.
We do not
We
love
love
Obi-Wan.
him. Of course we love Obi-Wan. It's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi, dude. How can you not love him?
If you watch it, I watched the Star Wars movies in numerical order, not chronological.
Yeah.
Well, I watched the prequel first. I watched
Yeah,
1,
yeah,
2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5.
No
Since
order of release, yeah.
And that kind of tainted me, I guess, in that way because I grew up with my first impression of Obi-Wan was his
Phantom Menace.
was Phantom Menace, and he feels like this is a completely different character from the rest of the entire series. And I get that he's supposed to change with the death of his master and everything, but I don't feel like that's not the vibe you're getting in the second movie at all. Or even
I guess we could bring in his guilt over Qui-Gon's death and the disagreements he had with Qui-Gon.
Why
and
isn't
drum them up a
Qui-Gon
bit more.
brought up more? Why isn't he brought up in the second and third more? Because
Yeah.
he's such an important figure for both Obi-Wan and Anakin. Cause,
It's an inciting incident.
because
in many
they
ways,
are the brothers to Qui-Gon Jinn as the father.
Yeah.
So they both lost the father basically. So why don't we bring that up more? I cannot understand. And also just
Yeah, it's a bit underplayed, but still, you get the sentiment throughout.
you just gotta read into it so much, and at some point you gotta be like, no, it does not have this. You can't just read into it on your own.
But you can read between the
You
lines,
can,
because technically it is there, right? You see what happens in the first movie, and then you can extrapolate and go into the second movie knowing that this has happened and this has shaped these
But
characters.
you give way more to this movie than you give to any other. You would not say this to any other movie. You just give everything to this movie.
But and if we can return to the political aspects, which is
political.
the highlight, right?
Honestly,
And we can, I think, season 2 of Andor coming out momentarily.
Yeah.
And I think that show really highlights how good the intrigue can be in a Star Wars political drama, right?
It's crazy how good political climate is in Star Wars and how intricate and how interesting it is.
Exactly, and I think, obviously the Phantom Menace in particular really, starts that whole journey towards us understanding and being inside this deeply problematic, very complex political structure, which that enables Andor at the end of the day, right? Which is an amazing show, right? Stoked for season 2. It's going to be amazing, right? But so there are so many good aspects, is what I want to return to with the first 3 movies that are so good. And you said the climactic scene, the final fight in Phantom Menace, was a bit lackluster. I completely disagree.
Not the choreography or anything.
The choreography is amazing.
Yeah, obviously.
The soundtrack, Duel of the Fates, is the best thing that has happened to mankind
probably
since The Fire, probably, right?
Yeah, sure.
More or less.
Which
is bizarre, right? And it's just the shot framing is brilliant. The force fields then being separated, both the metaphysical and the physical aspects coming together all at once. It's just boom, everything is perfect.
But by the side tangent, they have Duel of the Fates, like the soundtrack on lock. On copyright. They have it on lock.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't use any of this.
No. I used it in one video for like 2 seconds. And they're like, no.
Boom, no shot. Yeah,
no shot.
You can't even use you need the choir.
No.
Yeah, it's over.
They know in the first note. They're like, we know this.
Yeah,
no.
Which is fair.
They're like, nice try. We got you this time. Because everyone, like, when I was doing Avatar content, fun fact, I was you could use like 6-7 seconds straight of just the show, and they would not care.
Yeah,
like they would do eventually with some clips, but like not that hard, and they would not like totally take your money if they do.
Or not even demonetized.
They were like, oh, we're restricted in a few countries.
Okay.
We just like restricted in a few countries where the copyright laws are really harsh. So we're like you still can watch it in the States and everything. So it's not that bad. It's like 70% of the population that still can watch it.
Yeah.
Even though you used a lot of you used the whole show just clipped up a little bit in the whole episode, and it's just like it works. A second onto the face, and he's like, nah. Nah.
Which is fair, because anyone would want to use that, because again, it is holy moly, what a piece.
Yeah, the soundtrack. I have not a single bad thing to say about the soundtrack.
No,
in
the
any
sound
of these
design,
movies.
the sound design,
especially
in
the action scenes. I have nothing to say. This is purely storytelling, in my opinion, and character building that I want to change and just switch it to animation, because that would be sick.
I can see it, but the practical effects are also
effects are amazing.
Beautiful.
For being like 1999?
Yeah, 2K. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Those it is so beautiful. Like in podcasts, pod racing. I mean, holy shit, what a scene, right?
Pod racing is.
I want a pod racing show. Can you just give me a pod racing show?
That would be amazing.
Just please. I want to see Niva Key in all his glory.
That is a great. It goes on for a little bit, but it is pretty exciting and it looks cool. So I can't say anything about it. And
can you put for the short? Can you put Quadranero's power coupling going rogue?
Yeah, absolutely.
There goes Quadranero's power coupling. My God, that's such a good scene. Oh, such a good scene.
No, the political aspects, and I love how this movie opens. The Phantom Menace opens. I love because it opens on the Trade Federation has done a blockade of Naboo.
Completely legal, by the way.
Completely legal.
Completely, I assure you, our blockade is completely legal.
And it's so that is such an interesting start point for this, because it really shows like this is not a good or a bad conflict. It is. Fine. Well, they do have Sidious in the background that kind of controls things, so it makes it kind of good or bad.
And then there are two of them also. Also, Darth Maul is in there.
Oh yeah, sure.
Can you put that in there?
I honestly wish we had less of Sidious in this.
Yeah, and more Newt Gunray, because I think Newt Gunray is just the best character, right? Isn't he so good? He just carries this movie.
No,
like every line he delivers is just pure fucking genius. Such amazing line reads, the delivery, everything. Yeah. No, holy shit, Newt Gunray for president.
Sure.
I'm so sad when he dies.
I understand it.
You imagine it's just Newt Gunray in there. You know what I want to see more also? I think the Techno Union is severely underrepresented.
Okay, fair enough.
Can we get more Techno Union? They're so fucking. Not only are they cool, but they're a pretty big player in the Clone Wars. So.
Honestly, with the Sidious thing, they have to bring him in because he is the mastermind of the whole thing, which is little bit unfortunate. Honestly.
What about Rune Heiko?
Who? This is 2D Star Wars story.
That's Newt Gunray's pal. It's the other Nemoidian.
The other one.
It's called Rune Heiko. Yeah.
How do you know that?
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
He's second best character after Newt Gunray is Rune Heiko.
What I was trying to say, being serious, this movie kind of suffers from that because the every party in this, they don't have to be controlled by Sidious because they have their own motives that go against each other. That's what political things are, because you don't have to, like it's and Sidious, like how does he his plan is kind of stupid in many ways. It's not perfect.
Well, it panned out, didn't it?
It did pan out.
So yeah, it was a good plan. As it turns out. Turns out it was a genius plan.
Jesus Christ.
It was all the tragedy of Darth Plagueis' device, wasn't it? That swayed Anakin.
Not Plagueis.
Yeah. Have you heard it?
Of course, like
it's not a story the Jedi will tell you.
No, they will not tell you that.
It's just going to be a meme episode.
He was the father of Anakin.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
But this movie is just... I wish that honestly we had more. That's the. It was more grey. Let's just say that. It is grey in some ways, but Sidious and Maul kind of makes it less grey.
Yeah, no, it becomes. Yeah, of course. Because at the end of the day, I guess Sidious wants power just because of the power. He doesn't wanna, like, do
that was
anything.
always his.
He doesn't want to wield it.
In the original trilogy, it works because we have Darth Vader, who is really the antagonist.
Yeah.
And then just Sidious is being the evil behind it all.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that
You need just a pure evil.
Yeah,
right?
like Ozai in Avatar. Like you just sometimes just need a super horrible
or Sauron,
person.
That pure
Sauron.
evil.
It works in stories. So I don't mind that. It's more that it kind of ruins some of the more interesting things about especially the Confederates and the war later on, the Clone Wars. We don't see the Clone Wars that much, which is it's fair. We know how it goes.
Yeah.
But I just wish we saw.
There's a lot of room there to do.
A lot of room, and I just wish we saw more on the other side, because we get a few episodes in the Clone Wars where we go to the Separatists' home worlds, and we see that they are just people that want the rights and want to take care of their families. But here it's Dooku and Grievous being kind of mustache twirling villains. Yeah. Even though Dooku is kind of a little bit more nuanced in that way, because even though he's also undercooked.
Sure. But for the story we tell, kind of it works, and that's. We could theoretically tell a different type of story that is more nuanced, that is more grey, but the story we are telling does not necessarily need that.
One thing that would fix this is having a consistent secondary villain, because Sidious is obviously the main super in the shadows antagonist. But if we had a more consistent, like Darth Vader is,
we have Darth Maul.
No, Darth Maul is not consistent.
No,
that is in the first movie,
yeah.
And then we have Dooku in the second, and then we have Grievous in the third.
Yeah.
I wish maybe, in my personal opinion,
that's representative of the Sith ways.
I would rather have Dooku because he fits this story more than Maul and Grievous. Grievous and Maul are both attack dogs. They are just Jedi murderers. But Dooku, he's a political man. He comes from the Jedi. Yeah. He was a former Jedi, which kind of proves the point because he switched, which is kind of the whole thing of Anakin's twist later on. So having him from the start, just maybe having him because he's a Jedi during Qui-Gon's death was because Qui-Gon was his apprentice, Dooku's apprentice, which is an interesting fact.
Yeah.
And if we had maybe Dooku in some scenes more in that first movie, maybe mentoring Qui-Gon in some ways, and we see the death of Qui-Gon affecting Dooku, and that made him switch in the second movie.
Yeah, but that dialogue I think is really good when they actually talk about Qui-Gon.
And when he's
when Obi-Wan and Dooku.
Up.
Yeah, exactly. That is that's really good.
Sure, but we need more of that. We don't need 1-2 lines. We need a whole focus on the whole trilogy, because in the original trilogy we have Darth Vader throughout. We need space for especially Dooku, since if he fits the story, why can't we have him? You see his arc in the first one. He's more prominent in that story. So then he switched because of Qui-Gon's death and the council's neglect almost of him and his warnings. So maybe he switches. So we see him in the second movie, and it's the same in the second movie. But he stays in the third movie until the end, so Anakin can defeat him in the end and not in the first second of the movie.
Okay, now
then we just switch to Grievous.
But Grievous is amazing, right?
He's not amazing in that movie. He's amazing in the show.
Yeah, oh my god, he's so cool in the show.
Yeah.
But he is amazing.
He's neutered in the movies.
Yeah, fair, I guess. But we don't show off his prowess for real, like how much
he is
of
cool,
a Jedi killer he is. Yeah, he is ridiculous.
But also, then we have one less fight in the finale, because there's a little bit too much going on in the finale. Obi-Wan's fighting there, and then we have Anakin's obviously, and then we have and then we have another fight with Sidious and Yoda. Like we have a lot of just fight after fight after fight after fight. And then we have obviously Obi-Wan's versus Anakin. Can we just have like a few of those? We don't need everyone, honestly. We have like 10
but
fights.
We already have so many.
20
We've
minutes.
got Windu and Sidious, which I guess is fair. But it's still the climax. That's what we want to see. Those fights are fucking sick.
The length and amount of fights doesn't really matter. If we look at something like one of my favorite fights is Maul versus Obi-Wan in Rebels. just
Yeah.
Maul's final fight.
Yeah,
It's only like
Nice.
2 seconds long.
Yeah.
But it is probably one of the best fights in Star Wars history.
It's really
because of
good.
the
And
meaning,
the build-up.
because of the build-up,
Yep.
because of just
Yeah. There's
because-
so much to it.
these movies, the prequels, kind of all fall into the just fight for fighting's sake in some ways. Even though they are cool and they have a really cool choreography, we just get a fight after lightsaber duel after lightsaber duel that just like go on for way too long.
No, but that's what I want to watch. To be honest, do you remember when I said during the Captain America episode that this movie would be really good if it was just action and they didn't try to shoehorn some shit ass story in there.
But then,
and this is what I mean. Like, holy shit.
But then you gotta stand on business then. Because then you can't have the political intrigue and everything.
But they do settle that too.
I feel
Democracy does die in that movie, right?
Yeah, but
with thunderous applause, which is like the
takes-
best scene in cinema history, isn't it?
Take away some of the fight scenes and do more dialogue scenes about the political.
Can we get an extended cut of?
Extended? Yeah. If
I want
if
4
you're not
hours.
fixed
I want
then-
every single. There is a director's cut of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, right. That's the only way to watch it.
Yeah.
But if you want to do Revenge of the Sith with all these fights, then have an extended version because I feel like an hour of the 2.5 hour
Also, I
run
want to
mark
see.
is just
Yeah.
fights.
I want to see what happens to Yarael Poof. He just goes poof.
Yeah, he just goes away.
Yeah, right. I want to see him.
Gosh.
Imagine, and I think Kiadimundi severely underrated and
Of course,
underrepresented. Yeah.
That's
He's
what I love
also
about the
cool.
show. We get more interesting details about Jedi's and side characters.
Exactly. So maybe in many ways that format could be better to tell these stories, which is why I'm a bit upset that recently, like I think Ahsoka was not a very good show.
Maybe we should do a Harry Potter and do a show instead, and do a instead of 3 movies, we do like seasons instead to get those smaller characters.
Yeah. You mean just like they're doing Harry Potter?
Yeah.
What is what we should do to Star Wars?
To Star Wars, exactly. Just to revamp it. I feel like that would work.
That could work.
And also, you can pitch it and like, it's not just 3 movies again. We have actually seasons.
Yeah.
And that would kind of work.
Each movie is one season.
Yeah.
Maybe that could work. Yeah, and that would revitalize because of
and
course.
maybe you can add seasons then. You can just we have a Clone Wars season then. So we just add material in the middle there. So we have maybe the 3rd season.
That'd be so sick, and there are so many good characters.
There's so many good characters, and that's a problem with Star Wars. There is a lot of characters, a lot of things that goes on, which is the problem in the Phantom Menace. They have a lot of characters, so Obi-Wan can't get the shine that he needs. Honestly, in my opinion, I know you don't agree, but if we have a series, then we can have the
some characters.
Qui-Gon
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan moments in every episode. So we really build up. So when that, say episode 8, because every season is 8 episodes these days. So episode 8.
I prefer 10, but yeah.
If we then comes to episode 8 or 6 or whatever they want to, or 10.
Yeah.
And the fighting comes
that's
and Duel of
just
Fates comes on and we see Qui-Gon die.
Yeah.
We know him more.
Yeah.
We know Obi-Wan more, so we really feel it.
Yeah.
We also can have seen his ability a little bit more because it always felt like, how can Qui-Gon not take on, and then just Obi-Wan comes in as a Padawan and defeats him. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a surprise attack, isn't it? He's just in a moment of clarity, he grasps the force and just boom.
But then we also can show
Blink of the
Maul's
eye.
character a little bit more.
Yes,
also.
yes.
Even though I feel like he
he's
should be a one-dimensional character. He shouldn't be 3-dimensional yet.
Yeah.
Because he becomes that in the show,
Yeah.
right? In the Clone Wars show,
absolutely.
he becomes a really
when you get
character.
for Dathomir, you get some more backstory.
But in that
which
first
is
one,
nice.
he's just an attack dog. He's just a person that goes after, and he should be one-dimensional. But we really should show his arrogance more because that is what kills him.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and precisely, and his ambition. Like ambition can be a good driving force, and you don't necessarily need to be a bad human being because you're ambitious.
Yeah, true.
Inherently,
We can
you
also
will do
see-
some crazy things if you are ambitious.
100%. We can also see Sidious's kind of manipulations more.
Yeah, and what he
throughout.
wants to do with power, why he wants to wield
Yeah,
ultimate
not just
power,
like-
that he knows that he is the supreme ruler. He was meant to be this because
We can
he
see
is
his
the Dark
territory,
Lord of
yeah.
the Sith, right? He's going to be the most powerful Sith, and he's also very ambitious, right? Which comes with the territory if you are a Sith Lord, right? And just build that up more. That'd be really sick.
Yeah, if we see more scenes about him being a little bit nefarious, and because he is kind of a quirky character, also, like he is a little.
They do play him for laughs, on occasion,
but
right?
which you can do because he still comes off as a really threatening force. I just wish because now in the movies I feel like things just happen, and then after they happen, they feel like, oh, it was my plan all along. So it feels like the Agatha all along twist. It's just like afterwards they just or Sherlock later seasons where when they don't explain things in beforehand, so you're just like, he knew it all along.
To be honest, technically they always do that. Like even season one is Sherlock is
They do it better. They do it better.
But definitely, it is. But on rewatch that show. You only watch it because Martin Freeman and Cumberbatch are so fucking amazing, right? That's the actual when you think about it, the actual writing is kind of mediocre.
No, it gets worse and worse every time you watch it, honestly. And you never get past season 2.
No, right? No, exactly. So you're like,
every rewatch. I rewatched it like 4 times because I loved it when it came out. Like I loved it.
And it's Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch. It's just ridiculous.
They are so funny in that.
It is.
But it becomes so bad after like season 2, and you're like, wow, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Those first 3 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes maybe are momentarily pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And well, amazing is a strong word. I feel like that first episode isn't that great actually.
No, not when you actually start to think about the writing and what's going on. Then it's a bit mediocre. But you watch it for the characters and the acting. And Andrew Scott's Moriarty is also brilliant.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good in that.
I love that dynamic.
Oh my god, it's yes. You watch it for the acting.
100%.
Rather, the writing is kind of shit most of the time when you think about it.
Definitely.
But sometimes Moffat, he gets it. I think Moffat is a bit like hit or miss.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's the show in general, honestly. Sometimes
that's
it works.
Fair. And I think the same with like the Doctor Who, all the Doctor Who episodes he wrote. But any which way back to Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars. I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Should Star Wars do another trilogy?
Maybe,
a sequels to the sequels.
Maybe not. Do you think Mando and Grogu will be 3? Will they do a trilogy?
No, I hope to God not. They should have killed them at season 2. I have a really strong.
But we are watching Mando and Grogu.
Obviously, we're watching it.
On release.
Obviously, we're watching it. I'm just saying, in my opinion, maybe this is controversial or not. I don't know, but they should have ended it at season 2. Season 2 was the perfect ending for Mando's whole arc.
Yeah.
Is they finally get them. They get the Luke cameo, which is what's criticized somewhat, but I think it's cool.
It works.
It works. It's cool. And then Grogu goes off to train with Luke.
Yeah.
Fine.
Done deal.
Yeah,
exactly.
Those first 2 seasons are quality. I think the first one is a little bit better. Sure. But the second season also great.
They are tight.
It's season 3 that just dips, and then season 4 just. It's coming out soon, and it's probably gonna dip even more.
No, but there's no Mando and Grogu. The movie is the final.
No, I feel like there's a season 4 also coming.
Are they doing a season 4 after the movie?
No, it's before the movie, I think.
No. The movie is now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's soon, but I think
the movie comes out just next year.
And they're doing a let me look. Mandalorian season 4. Mandalorian season 4 release date. Well, it's gonna be after.
It's gonna be after, right? Are you sure? Because
it's gonna be after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty.
Season 4
I'm pretty sure
the
they said that the movie was gonna be like they're not gonna do any more show.
But then
they're only gonna do a movie. Are they really doing a season 4?
Yeah, it seems like this.
Okay, because the last I heard it was that the movie is gonna be the culmination.
I hope so, because but like. Why have a Mandalorian Grogu movie? Because the season 3 really it's not horrible.
Yeah.
Season 3 is okay.
Yeah, no,
but
it was
really
a fun
shows
watch
that we've overstayed our welcome.
Yeah. No. But as you said, that season 2 is really they've been such a brilliant, boom finale. Let's just end it there. It's just really good.
Yeah.
And then we don't need Ahsoka.
Yeah, we don't need Ahsoka. We only need Andor. Honestly, we don't. Obi-Wan.
We really need Andor.
Obi-Wan was a good idea, in my opinion. I feel like
I like many of the things they did in that
even
show.
Though it looks like a CW show, and I don't know where the budget went there at all. It looks really.
That's in some instances, but other scenes are. The Anakin Obi-Wan fight is really cool.
Even though in Anakin Obi-Wan, the last one, it also looks kind of uncanny sometimes. I feel like the lighting is kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but
it looks kind of weird.
But having Hayden in there is just brilliant. It's
Yeah, honestly,
I do love that show
in
many ways.
He should have never left Tatooine. he should have never left Tatooine in that. I was really excited for that show.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan it's such a good idea to have a show about Obi-Wan's time, because it is really mysterious time for him on Tatooine. He spends like 18, 17 years on Tatooine just chilling.
Just watching over,
after he failed to stop Anakin, because he hears rumors about Darth Vader, so he kind of because that would
but he
be
doesn't
boring.
dare confront them. It'd be so sick if we get all this guilt. Can
we just do a full character study? I don't care if I even see Obi-Wan fighting. Maybe he just fights a few but outlaws or something.
On the contrary, I want him to see someone commit a crime like he does in the show, right, and not
and do anything.
Do nothing.
Yeah, because
you can see him maybe instinctually moving for the lightsaber and then do nothing.
And then
we do get a sentiment of that, right?
And maybe bury his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Or maybe because he has obviously hid them, because he don't carry his lightsaber anymore, because
he's got it with a cerveza cristal.
So I just wish it feels so out of character for him. For the Obi-Wan we see later in New Hope, which is more of a quirky old man, and then from the Revenge of the Sith version, that I feel like he would never leave Tatooine from Luke's side.
No, but I agree. Doing a character study would be so fucking
full
sick.
Character study, because it makes sense that he would be kind of depressed. He's doing nothing, and he's just waiting, and he kind of failed, and everything's going to shit. I want the Empire slowly, and I want to maybe the first time he hears the word Darth Vader, that maybe he realized, he didn't kill him. And then, he gets maybe some fear, some anxiety, some panic attacks. You want to see him struggle with
that'd be really cool, and add in some really cool characters with different viewpoints. That try to communicate with him. And we could have some kind of story going on, maybe on Tatooine, with the Empire's coming in and taking over, etc. And everyone pleads to want to do.
I
something.
Honestly would have loved. Maybe this is a bit out there for Obi-Wan, but honestly, if he maybe told someone that he was Obi-Wan, or maybe he was a Jedi,
found out,
or maybe if someone found out, and he had to put him down. He had to because that's what he does to Maul. But Maul deserved it. Maybe it was just a civilian that just gonna report him, and he had to put him down because he had to protect Luke. But that's what I mean. That's the difference between Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan and A New Hope Obi-Wan. I feel like he's accepted
very
his
pragmatic.
life. He's accepted his life. He knows that he's done great, and I feel like he's just more spiritual, and he's not concerned with the world as much. He's just
he has put his faith in the Force.
Yeah, he's put his faith, and that's what I want to see. I want him to put his faith in the Force.
Yeah.
That's why I love the ending.
Yeah, it'd be really sick if it was a religious awakening in many ways.
Because that's the difference. I want to see him go from Revenge of the Sith to New Hope. That's the bridge here. That season is the bridge. But I only the way the ending goes here is that he doesn't really change. He just goes to reconvene with Qui-Gon. So we kind of go and then he goes to a journey, and then I'd much rather see that journey he goes at the end of Obi-Wan's. So I'd make a season 2 then, I guess. But it's just him going out there and risking him, and then risking Luke's whereabouts, and getting a Sith to Tatooine at the end. It's just it seems so out of character, and I'm no, it should be a character study about him accepting life and accepting consequences and accepting choices he's made.
That's something you can do in universe too. That's so cool. That's a cool aspect about the Star Wars universe. It does leave room for introspection, because it is so vast and so different in so many ways. I'd love for us to explore other venues of that, and I think Andor does that brilliantly, right?
Exactly.
That is the cool thing about that show, is that it does explore so many cool vistas in a very thoughtful way, where we have to think and ponder about what's going on in this universe, which there's so much emphasis in Andor, and I love that about that show. Right?
That show is amazing when it comes to just smart dialogue in general. That show, not get carried because everything is so good in that, but it shows how just being smart with your words and being smart with the themes that you
and consistent world building. I think the world building in Andor is absolutely brilliant.
100%.
Because the political intrigue is what carries that show, right?
It also shows the Empire at its best, but like the best version of the
Yeah,
Empire.
so those scenes are like the coolest ever, you know, with the Inquisitors and, you know,
I honestly love how they depict the Empire, because it shows that they are not just an evil, the Darth Vader, and they're much more than just those who are the top being
bureaucracy
evil.
at the end of this, just a machine, and if you're stuck at the bottom of the machine,
there's nothing you can do. But you're like trying to work hard, and you're trying to like put your all into it, and they kind of fuck you over anyway, because that's how life works. That's how bureaucracy works.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how this big machine, this big empire works. And it's just like a slow, chugging, big moving, just a chunk of bureaucracy at the end of the day, which it's a corporation.
Yeah.
And
they really highlight that perfectly in that movie.
Yeah.
Or in that show.
With really backwards logic at sometimes. With
how bureaucracy works. Everything is just so mundane and so tedious, and you know, so sometimes ineffective.
Exactly.
Which, you know, reflects that's life, right?
It reflects the Empire so much better than it does in many other. Because when you look at something like Rebels, which was supposed to be the successor of Clone Wars, which in many ways it was not. I believe that show is pretty horrendous, and that kind of shows the incompetency of the Empire, but not because here we also have some incompetency.
But it's so believable.
But it's so believable,
because it reflects, you know, something we've all seen. We've all been there, right? We see the inefficacies of bureaucracy at play. You know, this endless paperwork that leads to nothing. We have these archaic, you know, systems in place, and it's just so accurate and believable.
Yeah, not like just stormtroopers being incapable of hitting anything.
Yeah, exactly. But
no, here like every soldier is actually a threat, because when you're not a Jedi, you can't just mow down 200 stormtroopers and there's like no problem.
Exactly. The stakes are really high. The characters are really good,
and also the corrupt like justice system, how he just picks up the wrong person. Such a switch of just
tone.
The show the tone just switches there, because
and Andy Serkis is in there.
Andy Serkis is coming.
And he can't swim. What a fucking scene, dude! Holy shit!
That's one of the best, like, because sometimes a storyline kind of loses steam in shows, especially when you have a long. This is not a long season. I know season 1 is probably.
But it feels like it is.
Nine.
It is super effective, but it feels like it because there's like it's so tight. And there's so many twists and turns.
So much because when if we go back a few, maybe a decade. Maybe to the 2000s, early 2010s, we have these sitcoms and these shows that are 25 episodes long a season. That is the standard. That is the golden standard at that point. And that really shows the bloat. If you're not a sitcom that can just go out, you spew out episodes that
and do like villain of the week. If you just, you know.
But you see a lot of shows suffer from being so extremely bloated from these long episode runs. But because they cannot do these arcs and then switch up here. Even in a shortened season, they have 3 episodes when they do the heist, and then they just switch focus
to the
seamlessly.
Prison.
They just switch focus, and then they switch focus again to the prison, and it's like not for a second do I believe like
everything's so believable, and it is the world building is impeccable throughout. It's so good, and that's what we're gonna return to, the respecting the audience and really respect the audience, because the world building is super tight, super believable. It is so Star Wars, it's so quirky. A huge shout out to the writers on Andor,
and the exposition is minimal.
Wow, it is delivered impeccably.
I watched the first few episodes for a Andor review I was writing at the time, and that first episode, there's just basically no exposition.
No, right?
No,
everything just happens. It's so streamlined, and it's you're in media rest immediately. And it's so believable, and you're just in there. What a beautiful show! I'm stoked for season 2.
And like every scene that they have to explain something, they just do it in such a seamless in dialogue. They don't have to do any voiceover like Mickey 17 doing that 25-minute voiceover.
And no rolling text, floating.
And the rolling text is fine for the movies because it's iconic, but it is bad exposition at some point.
Sometimes, but at the end of the day, for one episode we're going to talk about showing instead of telling, and
sometimes telling is better than showing. I know.
As a writer I will have to say that there is a time and a place for telling shit and having some exposition in there, But regardless, wow, what Anders such a brilliant show.
I'm so stoked for season 2.
Yeah,
and
likewise.
I feel like everyone that has any interest in Star Wars that actually knows what they're talking about are like
Yeah, they're not just
craving this
pure
show.
fanboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this show is really good.
And it stands out so much from that, because if we go over to Ahsoka, which we touched upon very lightly, but that show is probably the most dull thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That
Did you
show-
watch Skeleton Crew?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Okay, I thought Skeleton Crew was a lot of fun in
That is a
many
good change
places,
of
but
pace.
it is very lighthearted, very very lighthearted.
Okay, you can do a lighthearted show.
Yeah.
Because like Mandalorian and Andor are both like pretty serious shows.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
So and Ahsoka was also like it was too serious.
Yeah, exactly.
That was-
That's kind
Obi-Wan
of
was also like
maybe too serious.
Maybe also too serious.
Yeah. So Skeleton is a breath of fresh air in that sense, but it's meant to also be, more. It's like a kid-friendly show. It's like introducing the kids to Star
But
Wars.
it's kind of the Bad Batch shows. That also
sure.
those is it 3 seasons now. I only watched 2. I only watched 2, and those seasons are like they're pretty lighthearted and kids showy, but they are pretty good.
Yeah,
show.
but it can be done in a good way, right? Where you can enjoy, even if it's the primary audience is
shown.
like a Pixar movie, for example.
Pixar, Disney, Avatar.
Or the like prime examples. Avatar: The Last Airbender, a great example. I think.
Something like
Dragon. I think Dragon Prince also.
Adventure
is,
Time.
Adventure. Adventure Time is like the peak example of that.
Gravity Falls.
Falls. Absolutely.
To iconic childhood.
Yeah. SpongeBob SquarePants. If you go further back, obviously, and then we come to like Cartoon Network and stuff, which many of those shows, I guess, are technically adult animation. Like Scooby Doo is.
It's borderline.
It's because it's. At the time, it was presented as a kids' show, right? But when you watch it these days, or like if you go like Johnny Bravo or some shit, that's just adult animation.
It's just masked a little bit.
It's bizarre that was on, Cartoon Network.
You can really feel like they wanted to do adult animation, and then they. I always get back
and
to...
they framed it, they got funded because adult animation really wasn't a thing back then, right?
No, it was,
so it was just masked.
Simpsons and that was just the funniest thing, because I still remember your dad when we played, and he was, we had...
We were playing Stop the Buzz, and we had a few different categories, and one was children's shows, right?
Yeah, children's shows, and he said Simpsons. For S. And
obviously we freaked out and said, that's not a kids show.
No way.
What are you doing?
And he was like,
but it's animated. And right.
You really saw the bias. You really saw the bias there.
Right. But that's old people. They don't understand how animation works.
But like, if you watch that show with like Family Guy, which is kind of its mirror,
it's so obvious.
It's so obvious that
or
it's
Boondocks.
Or like Rick and Morty or something.
It's clearly not a kid's show.
Yeah, it's just so brutal.
Or say Invincible.
Yeah, oh man, I only watched season 1. Like I need to watch.
You're in for a treat, my dude. You're in for a treat.
That's probably the one show I want to watch most in the entire world right now. So I'm thinking about buying Prime just to watch.
Yeah. You can borrow my Prime and watch it.
The drink.
No, but you can.
I need to.
You can use my Prime.
And I would need to watch The Boys as well.
Ooh, The Boys. Yeah. But you can use my Prime for sure.
Perfect. Because Invincible. That season 1 is sometimes badly animated, but it's
right. But the writing is impeccable. And to be honest, season 3. Some really insane animation in there. Yeah. Like sometimes they just go fucking nuts. Have you watched Pantheon yet?
I have not watched Pantheon.
Oh my god, what a show, dude! What a show! Holy shit! Now we're pivoting to animation, adult animation.
Of course.
But watch Pantheon. Because now here everything comes together, right? Because I've never watched a show that respects its audience as much, right?
Right.
Holy pulls nut punches, right? It's if maybe you don't understand this, it's whatever, it's in world. In context, you don't understand exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But you understand the ramifications in context, right? So you don't need to know, the programming languages they use, right? Or how exactly you structure an array in that language, etc. You just need to know that it's possible to do. Right, and it's done so tastefully, so respectfully, and holy shit, the acting in that show, there are some impeccable deliveries, like voice lines. You might have seen the scene at the kitchen table, right from which did the rounds a while back, deservedly so. Because
Deservedly.
that scene is so impeccable.
We have a lot of. I actually want to talk about, because I've been binging Daredevil lately. The first one.
Okay.
Like the original.
The Netflix one.
The Netflix one.
Well, okay.
Because of
the
new series.
Just to get in
right
the mood.
Yeah. So I just wanted to. I often do that. Like for Andor season 2 now, I'm gonna watch Andor season 1.
Same, to be honest.
Yeah, you gotta rewatch and update your for like Dune 2. I watched Dune 1.
Yeah. Of course.
So I'm season like 2. I'm like middle to season 2 now, and I forgot how brutal that show is.
That it is, isn't
Man,
it?
it is brutal.
Yeah, like it's crazy how violent that show is.
It's that first or second episode when he takes his own life like on a spike. There's like one of the best scenes in I've ever seen, honestly, which is kind of crazy because
I need to rewatch that.
Sometimes Daredevil looks a little iffy. It's
not super high budget.
Yeah, it's pretty low budget, and I don't know how Marvel agreed to this, because when you watch it's insane, because the fight scenes are well choreographed.
It's insane.
The writing is very nice.
Yeah,
it does not do into these tropes that kind of plague these type of shows.
Yeah, no, exactly. It does a lot of novel things.
Yes, and in like this, it's like the second episode maybe, or like the third episode. It's early in the show, and this Nelson and Murdoch has just freed a client from prison because he murdered some guy or whatever. So they're outside, and then Daredevil pulls up to him and trying to get some information from him. Yeah. And he says Wilson Fisk's name. So that's the first time he hears it. Yeah. So he gets Wilson Fisk's name, and because he's about to kill him. And he wasn't gonna kill him, obviously, because that's kind of against his moral. But he was pressuring him. But then when he stands up and he was like, "Fuck, I did that," and then he just murders himself. Yeah, and it's not like a cutaway or anything. No. He's just like he head. I don't know what you call it. Like through his mouth, he just dives on a spike, and just it's full view. Yeah. It's just like, here's the shot, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's just bleeding out, and just holding it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? No,
that show is good.
It's just a random ass actor. Like we see him in one episode. That actor, and he really like sells the fact that like he feels like so pressured by Daredevil, obviously, that he tells, but then he's like,
but then he realizes what he's
like,
done.
Oh, fuck. And I'm like, I'm. And then he was like, shit, I gotta do this because otherwise my family. So he just takes his own life. Yeah. And I'm like, damn. Yeah. Fuck this show. Like it shouldn't be.
Damn. Maybe I should also do the little rewatch.
No, the Daredevil. Honestly,
because that show is good, right?
Yeah, that show is good. It's much better than the Jessica Jones and.
But I think I like
Cage,
the right.
Especially Iron Fist.
Especially Iron Fist. That's the low point of those. I enjoyed Jessica Jones.
I enjoyed the Luke Cage first season a little bit as well.
Yeah, sure. No, that wasn't bad.
But no one can really stand up to Daredevil.
No, it doesn't even come close, right? That is crazy. I remember that.
It's too good for some good, honestly. It's so good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's new. We've seen a few episodes. I've seen a few episodes. We saw the first one together.
I've seen the first one. I'm gonna keep watching.
I haven't seen too much, but we'll get an episode out when it's done.
Yes, we're gonna do the whole Daredevil review.
But it looks pretty good, and Marvel, these revival shows are so good. And we're talking about adult animation. X-Men 97.
Ooh,
one of the best shows of all time.
What a show, dude! What a show! Yeah, that was really good. Looking forward to the next season.
Better than original.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah.
I hope no like 90s people come.
No, but I rewatched a few episodes from the old show, right? Just to
compare the palette.
Yeah, exactly, and because obviously through. Nostalgia, your nostalgia glasses on. I remember, loving that show. Yeah, but then I watched it.
It's a bit too early for me, so I never really got to watch it live.
Fair. But on rewatch, I'm like, okay, it's a good show, but no, it's not. It's actually not that good. But then you watch 97,
and you're like,
and that show is so tight. The writing is impeccable. The animation is sick. Yeah. Such a good show.
I really love what they did with a lot of characters here. I love they made Cyclops cool again.
Yes,
that is probably the biggest achievement because he has been the laughing stock of the
X-Men, right? But in 97, he's actually a really good character. I like him as a character. Yeah.
Love his character arc here. I love his just characterization.
Yeah.
He's much more like less than, because in the movies he's so bland.
Yeah.
But here he's more like
he's nuanced.
He is the
he's very
X-Men Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. But he is so believable, and he's so human in many ways.
Yeah.
And he does come off as like the goody two shoes most of the time, but at the same time, there's some nuance to him.
Exactly, and that's exactly like how Captain America, because he was also like a really goofy, bad character before. Yeah. They just brought him in. And
like Steve Rogers gave him, like real. In the comics, though, he's pretty good from time to time. Depends on the writer. But I guess it's hard to write him in many ways.
It is hard. That's the truth with... I don't blame them
any
for
like
writing
two-shoes character. Yeah.
It's tough to write them because they don't rarely have any flaws in that sense.
They're very like Mary Sue-esque.
Yeah, exactly. So and then he has some really cool action scenes here.
Definitely.
It's when he just free falling.
And then he lands with a laser. It's so cool. Yeah, and it spins around. Yeah, that is so good. I think Wolverine also is a good character in this show. Really believable. I think Magneto. As always,
I love Magneto until the last episode.
Yeah,
I felt like they were going in a different direction because Magneto at this point, because he's always the villain of the X-Men movies.
Yeah, that's it's Magneto. You need to.
But at some point, I'm tired of I'm playing the good guy until I'm not.
Right. And then he actually becomes, because he is very sympathetic in many ways, always. But then he just becomes very evil.
But here, I feel like they play it like he's already gone through that.
Because we remember him from the old show.
Exactly. So he's already gone
Planet
through
M and everything. Yeah.
The anti-hero becoming a villain arc that he always has. So why? But they kind of start something new here. I love what they start here.
Yes.
He becomes the president kind of thing, and then they just do the same old twist all over again. I just wished Professor X was dead almost. I really wished he died. For real.
Yeah,
and
not really
went
cool.
For some space prince.
Exactly. That storyline is. I'm not a huge fan of that in the comics either.
It's such a weird thing. But if he was dead and Magneto kind of took over the role as Professor X, but has his own, he has
agenda. Like he is very different, and he has his own agenda going for him where he is not only trying to unify mutant kind and mankind all the time, but more pragmatic and more realistic in the sense that maybe there will be so many prejudices. What can we do?
He's also more proactive in getting his goal, which is so interesting, and him like trying to convince the other X-Men is always a really interesting point. And we see those conversations being. He has some of the best lines I've ever seen in my life, and. It's just unfortunate that they kind of resort to
the heel turn exactly at the end of the day, which is
because you already had like a few good villains in the show, so like you didn't need to.
And there are so many good villains.
You didn't need to. You didn't need to him being a villain like
no.
in like the first X-Men and a few others like X-Men Days of Future Past. Like you kind of have to have him because you don't have a really antagonist. The story is built up for him to switch. Here it's built up for him not to switch, and then he just does it anyway because that's how Magneto goes.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we rehash this story arc for like the 1,000th time. And I'm like, I'm tired of it. Then
because the rest is really sick.
And then like you can't fix this with the Professor X, and I'm like. That conversation now, like how many times have you heard that conversation? Between those.
Yeah, I guess it's hard when you have a show that tries to stay very true to the comics, but at this point we've read every iteration of the comics, so we know how it goes. So you'd want to see something new also.
Because that's what I thought they were giving us. They were giving us
something completely new that is like a bit removed from the comics,
but still pays homage in
many ways, right? So we have the attack on Genosha. torture and everything, which is,
the best episode maybe ever.
Very good episode.
One of the best
right?
episodes ever made.
Yeah.
That episode
is really good.
So great.
Such a good episode.
And then we have Gambit just being such a good character.
Such
we have also just a revitalization of Gambit as a character with Deadpool 3 and now X-Men 7. Those two really made him a good character again.
And that was the thing that popularized Gambit to begin with, right? Was the original X-Men show, right? That
same
brought
with Rogue.
him to the
Same with
forefront.
Rogue.
Also, definitely. But I guess Rogue at least features in the other X-Men movies.
Well, she's horrible in those movies.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least people knew the character. I think
That's
Gambit. I remember when I was a kid, he was like the coolest X-Men. Everyone was like, Gambit is the coolest X-Men. But then,
and then Wolverine Origins or whatever that movie
exactly. And then we're back to and especially with the new X-Men that came out in the 2Ks, right?
Yeah.
The young X-Men, which focused a lot on like Cyclops and Nightcrawler and stuff. But still, good shit. I need to get going pretty soon.
And we've been talking a lot.
But we've had an episode. Another episode in the books. Good stuff. Goes to show that we can just talk about anything. But book of the week.
Book of the week. What is the book of the week?
What is the book of the week? It's a good question because I have been DNFing a lot of books. I picked up Remarkably Bright Creatures, it's called, which I thought the premise sounded super interesting. It's about, it's like a Shape of Water type deal, but not as direct. It is this lady who works at an aquarium cleaning, and she kind of befriends an octopus in there. And she starts like having conversations almost with the octopus, right? Right. And I thought the premise sounded really cool because I thought it would be like a character study almost. Very introspective, very we just work here. But it became pretty, I don't want to say blasé, but instead it devolved into a pretty generic, there was like a love interest there that we focused. It was a son that got a lot of room. So the actual story kind of, or the premise, the thing that interested me the most kind of fell by the wayside. And we just go into a pretty standard, like drama. Between these characters, like romantic, it was a romantic like
which
drama.
is kind of unfortunate because when you promise such a, which is not respectful to the
something so different, right? There would be more of like an interest, and especially I wanted to read a story from the viewpoint of like an older woman, more jaded, with a lot of life experience, and I was like, wow, that's going to be so interesting. What will it be to partake in her experiences?
And you're just working every day at an aquarium, and it seems like just like a humble. Maybe she wants more in life. Maybe she's comfortable with this. Like there's so many questions.
Precisely. Like Shape of Water, right? In that sense, that's what I like a lot about that story. Is that our main character is a bit different. It's a very novel take on what you can do, even though there are some aspects I don't really like and are a bit cliche. With that story, I think there's a lot of things that are really good too with that. So I guess it would deserve Best Picture at the end of the day.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But there you have it. So book of the week is Remarkably Bright Creatures.
And we will be back next week. We have a packed schedule. Next week we will be talking about a new movie. We'll not we're going to see a very interesting movie next week.
We won't spoil anything but it's going to be a thing and a half, let's just say.
Sure.
I was going to do a Minecraft joke, but I don't know enough about Minecraft.
You don't know.
It's going to be blocky.
Now you cannot spoil it.
Okay, no.
No, you spoiled it.
No, I didn't spoil it. You can edit that out, and let's just say that next week we are watching a true blockbuster.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's so bad. If you didn't guess it, then you just come back next week and we'll talk about it.
Goodbye, family.
Goodbye.
Subscribe to our Patreon
And OnlyFans.
And don't forget the OnlyFans, YouTube.
TikTok.
My man's is gonna shorts the shit out of this.
Of course.
Woo!
I always got you guys.
I love the shorts, dude.
At least one short
People
a
have
day.
commented. What the fuck was that about? There was some dude who was like,
There's a few comments.
Yeah,
here and
yeah,
there.
right?
We start to get there.
Yeah.
Even though like it's. We didn't know
Someone
the
said he
platform-
agreed with me, which I respect a lot.
Yeah. Of course you do.
Yes.
Of course you do. No,
sure, you're a genius if you
it's
agree
a
with
slow. It's a slow moving process, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
me. Sure, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Peace out.
All right, sayonara.